Okay, so now we need to do volume of composite solid. Volume of a composite solid. So we need to know what is a composite solid. So it says over here, objects made up of more than one type of solid are called composite solids. So if I take this cylinder and I add something to this, okay? So I either add or I remove. I can put a hole inside here that is a square hole all the way down. Or I can decide to put, see now I have a composite solid. I have a rectangular prism and I have a cylinder. This is composite because you have more than one 3D shape, okay? So sometimes you're going to remove something or you're going to add something. You need to look at your picture and think, am I going to add to it? Am I going to subtract? Okay? Now, I need us to look at other three-dimensional shapes that are very important that you should know. So this is what we call a rectangular prism. Why? Because the bases are rectangular. Okay? See? This side is a rectangle, the opposite side is a rectangle. The top is a rectangle, the bottom is a rectangle. The front is a rectangle, the back is a rectangle. That is why we call it a rectangular prism, because all the faces are rectangle or all the bases are rectangle. Okay? How do we find volume of a rectangular prism? You need to know the length of the rectangular prism, the width of the rectangular prism, and the height. So, for you to find volume, you say base area times height. What is the base of this prism? It is a rectangle. So how do you find area of a rectangle? Length times width. We have to multiply with the height. So let's use some values. What if this is 9 meters and this is 5 meters and this is 11 meters? Okay, so what will you do? You will multiply 9 meters times 5 meters times 11 meters. Okay? Then you will get meters cubed. Why? Meter times meter times meter gives me meters cubed. Then you will do 9 times 5, which is 45. Then 45 times 11. Or you just put 9 times 5 times 11. 495. And that is your answer. 495 meters cubed or cubic meters. Okay? All right. Then we have a cube. A cube like this. Yes? No, this is not a cube. I don't have a cube in my house. Well, you know how a cube looks. When I find one, I'll show you. I don't have it. I don't have anything here next to me that is a cube. Okay? Anyway, a cube is made of square faces. And we know on a square, we don't have length and width. We have sides because all the sides are the same dimension. Okay? So, when you're describing the cube, you need to tell me this is a cube whose side is like that. And you only give me one number, and I should know that I should use that number for the length, for the width, and the height. Okay? All right. So how do we find volume of a cube? We say base area times height. What is the base area of a cube? It is a square. So I will find the area of a square times the height. That means s to the third power, which means s times s times s. So if a question just writes here 7 centimeter and doesn't write 7 here and here, you should know that you need to write 7 centimeter, 7 centimeters. You should know that. The question might just give you this one number, and it says this shape is a cube. You should know you're going to use 3 of them when you want to find the volume. So you're going to write 7 centimeter times 7 centimeter times 7 centimeter. Centimeter times centimeter times centimeter gives me centimeter cubed. Then 7 times 7 is 49, and then you do 49 times 7. You should get 343 centimeter cubed, and you box your answer just like that. So you do 7 times 7 times 7, and you got 343 right there. 343 cubic centimeter. Okay. All right. Now this shape looks like bread. The shape that looks like bread is what we're calling a half a cylinder. Okay. Now, you need to know that this distance, this red line, is the diameter, because it's from the circle circumference to the center to the other side. So if the question gives you the diameter, you need to know how to find the radius. You also need to know this distance from here to the middle is the radius, and this distance from here to the middle is the radius. So therefore, this distance from here, from the middle to the circle, to the circumference, is also the radius. So depending on how your picture is drawn, you should be able to find the radius. And then how long your shape is, how long, that is the height. Okay? So this part is what we are calling a semicircle or a half circle. And how do we find the area of a half circle? So first of all, we want to find the volume of this shape. So volume equals to base area times height. Area of semicircle is times height. For you to find area of semicircle, you're going to do half times the area of a circle. So half times pi times radius squared times height. And then it means you're multiplying half times pi times radius times height to find the volume of this shape. Okay? So let's put some numbers. Let's say the diameter was 10 centimeter. And let's say the height is 13 centimeter. So now we need to first we need to find R. R equals diameter divided by 2, 10 centimeter divided by 2, giving me 5 centimeter. I told you must show all your work. You need to tell me how you got the radius. If I don't see this part, I am taking marks off. You have to use units and the correct one. All right. So we need to write half times pi times 5 centimeter times 5 centimeter, and my height is 13 centimeter. Okay, then I put all these numbers in the calculator. So shift 1/2 times shift pi times 5 times 5 times 13. And then I press the equal, and I get 325 out of 2 pi. That's what I get. I want it in a decimal. I press SD, and I get 510.50 centimeter cube. And if the question says round it to the nearest tenth, I circle the hundredths place. Sorry, I underline the hundredths place. I circle the tenths place. This number is less than 5, so I cannot do anything to my circle. So my answer will be 510 and 5/10 cubic centimeter. And I box my answer. Okay? Now, here, let us look at example 4. I told you when you're finding composite shapes, you will either add or subtract. So volume of composite shapes, volume of composite shapes or composite solids, you're going to do 2 ways. Either you will add or you will subtract. Okay? So you find 2 volumes and add them, and you find 2 volumes and subtract them, depending on the solid you've been given. Now, if you look at this solid, it is made up of a cube. How do I know? Because the base has the same number. So it is made up of a cube, and it is made up of a cylinder inside here. Okay? Now I am going to read so that I know whether I am adding or I am subtracting. Badria uses a cube-shaped bead, a bead. A bead is something you use for your earring, for your necklace. It has a hole inside. So because I know a bead has a hole inside, I will subtract. That is how I know, okay? So, Badria uses cube-shaped beads to make jewelry. So the thing you wear on your neck, your necklace, your bracelet, your anklet, that's jewelry. Your ring, that's a jewelry, okay? Each bead has a circular hole. Another reason why I know I'm going to minus. I see the word hole, I see the word bead. I already know in my head I am subtracting. Through the middle. So there's a hole through the middle. Find the volume of each bead. So I'm going to do without looking at the book. So we are going to do together without looking at the book, and then we compare our answer. So in this question, we are going to subtract. So I'm going to write volume of bead equals, so the big shape is the cube. So volume of cube minus volume of cylinder. And how do I find volume of cube? I will still do base area times height. I will put in bracket because this is for the cube. And how will I find volume of cylinder? Base area times height. Okay? Then, what is the base area of a cube? It is a square. So, I will write S times S times S. How will I find volume? Minus, not equal, subtract, minus. How do I find volume of a cylinder? Area of circle times height. Okay? And I close my bracket. Then I look at my picture and get my values. My cube has 12 millimeters. So I write 12 millimeters times 12 millimeters times 12 millimeters. And then I minus area of a circle times the height. Pi r squared height. Then I continue. 12 millimeters times 12 millimeters times 12 millimeters minus pi. Then I come here and ask myself, did the question give me diameter or did the question give me radius? I have the whole line. You see it goes through the circle, the whole circle. So this is my diameter. So since the question gave me diameter, I'll find radius. So I'll be radius equals diameter divided by 2. My diameter is 2 millimeters. I'll divide by 2 and I'll get 1 millimeter. Then I'll come back here and I will say times 1 millimeter times 1 millimeter. And the height of my cylinder is the same as the height of the cube. So times 12 millimeter times 12 millimeter. Okay? Then I get my first bracket answer. So I do 12 times 12 times 12. And I get 1,728 millimeters cubed minus, okay, then I do shift pi times 1 times 1 times 12, and I get 12 pi, which is the same as 37.7 because I'm going to round to the nearest tenth. 9 is greater than 5, so I'll add 1 to my 6. So I'll write 37.7 millimeters cubed. And then I will minus. So then I will do 1,728 minus 37.7 gives me 1,690 millimeters cubed. and 3/10 millimeters cubed. And this is my answer. Same thing, see? Base area times height, base area times height. Found the volume here, they got 1728. We got 1728. They found the volume here, they got 37.7. We got 37.7. They subtracted, we subtracted. They got 1,690.3. We got 1,690.3. Okay? So you need to know if you're adding or subtracting. You need to know. There'll be words, you look at your picture. So that means you need to know how to read. You need to ask yourself, does this mean add? Does this mean to subtract? Like that. All formulas for volume, you need to write base area times height. It doesn't matter the shape. Whether it's a cylinder, a rectangular prism, whether it is a cube, whether it's a triangular prism, it doesn't matter the shape. You must write base area times height. So this way, in your mind, you'll be saying, what's the base area of this shape? The base area is a rectangle. The base area is a square. The base area is a triangle. The base area is a circle, like that. The base area is a parallelogram. The base area is a trapezoid. So don't forget those formulas that we did. You have to know them. You must. No one will remind you. If you don't know your formulas, I don't know what we are going to do. You have to remember that, okay? All right, so finish this and do Aleph and do your examples A, B, C, and D. This book is already on your WhatsApp group, okay? Bye-bye.